What's going on, everybody? Welcome on in to another episode of Play by Play with JJ. My name is Jason Joseph. If you're new to my channel, okay, first of all, just want to remind you guys, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell icon too, so that way you know when I upload. Am I echoing? I think I'm echoing. Let me see. Let me double check really quickly to see if I'm echoing. Because that would suck. Uh, let's see. If I am echoing. Check 1, 2, 3. Uh, let's. Ay, ay, ay. This is not good. All right, can you hear me? This is not good. All right, there we go. All right. Take. Can I start this over? No, I guess not. Okay. What's going on, guys? Welcome on into another episode of Play by Play with JJ. My name is Jason Joseph. Again, if you're new to my channel, if you enjoy Sixers, Flyers, Phillies, and Patriots content, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell icon too, so that way you know when I upload. We're about to go on a tangent right here. Okay, but before we do that, I just want to also tell you guys that we are also now on Anchor and on Spotify as well. So we've been updating a lot of content on there. I'll be posting this episode afterwards on there. And excuse me, as I let out a burp there. Okay. So with that being said, enjoy the show. Flyers Nation. Okay, I need your help with something. I need you to literally tell me the direction of what the GM is trying to go with right now. Is he really trying to build for the future? Because I'm a little confused. With the way that things went today for the trade deadline, you expected that JVR was going to be moved with that expiring contract, and it didn't happen. I don't know how it didn't happen, but you could have put him on a contender, and Chuck just did not make it happen. And you also, okay, Kevin Hayes' contract, I understand that too. You know, you have to kind of figure out a way to eat that up and figure out who's really going to want him. But you're not able to get young talent. You're not able to get draft picks. And I'm sorry, but like anything at the end of the deadline would have been a lot better because now you gotta deal with these expiring contracts, man. Where is this team going? Where are they going? There is no direction for the future. They got a head coach who has actually done a really good job at getting the most out of his talent that he already has. The problem is that when you look at the scouts, when you look at everybody that's in the front office, they are just putting this team in a position to fail and fail and fail again. And you know what? It's such a bad look for the fans. It's such a bad look for the organization. It's a bad look for some of these players who, are competing really hard. And you have guys like Ivan Provorov who are now supposedly not so happy with the organization. And now they're going to want to be moved. And what are we doing with Carter Hart now? I feel so bad for him, man, because the fact that you just can't develop guys and you got like Wade Allison, you got Morgan Frost, these guys that you were supposed to project to be these top tier wing level guys. They're not showing up, they're not doing a really good job, and that's just poor on the talent. I look at the scouting in that department. And it all starts. It's not just with Chuck Fletcher. It just goes to Comcast Spectacor and it goes to ownership. Finally, on Thursday night, you had a stadium where New York Rangers fans were actually really, really loud. Patrick Kane was in the building. You could have gotten Johnny Gaudreau. You could have got Johnny. He specifically said that he wanted to come back to Philadelphia and play for the Flyers. And you know what you did? You didn't get him. You didn't bring him back. Chuck Fletcher failed. The organization failed. And when you're dealing with failures time and time and time again, okay, something has to change. It has to be an organizational change. I want everybody that has been in the front office for a little bit of time, Bobby Clark, Chuck Fletcher, all the guys that have been there for like the last 12 or so years, I want them all gone because we need a new philosophy. We need guys in the analytics department that are young, that understand where the team is and what types of things that the team needs from just a scouting perspective. I want us to be able to build from the ground up. And it starts by getting those foundations, finding those star talented players. And that's not what they're doing right now. They're in a mess where they have veterans and they have young guys who are just not playing at that top level as the organization thought that they could be. And they've missed out on so many picks year after year. And it's so frustrating as a fan because you want to root for them and you want to watch all these games and you want them to be successful. And they haven't even shown you a lick of how good that they can be. Part of that goes on the players, but a lot of it just deals with the organization. The head coach, John Totorella, has really done an incredible job at trying to get the most out of his players. I was just so confused when he was hired as the head coach because I knew that, okay, Alain Vigneault last year, it was time for him to go. It was time to have a new sort of philosophy, and Mike Yo took over. But it doesn't just affect the head coach. There's so many other things that are just, it's deeper. It's deeper than just the roster. It just goes to the organization, and I'm just so tired and I'm so frustrated with them. I really am. It ticks me off. Zach McEwen, why do we have to let him go? You're basically getting somebody who's on an expiring contract, who is literally just known for his grit, and he might walk too. So you're basically, if he goes, you're basically just getting a fifth rounder. That's it. What was the other trade that happened today? Why am I blanking out on it right now? I don't know. Brandon Lemieux. You get him. Oh, well, that was the Zach McEwen trade. But Patrick Brown, that was the other one. A guy that has shown a little bit of promise and has actually played really well for the team. Why are we giving him up? He's one of our best young players. Why do we have to give him up? You got a 6th-round draft pick for him? From Ottawa? It's I look at all these other trades around the league and I look at the Rangers, I look at the Boston Bruins, like they all got so much better, and yet you're literally at the bottom, man. And there's no direction. When I look at the Phillies, there was miscommunication between John Middleton, Matt Klentak, and Andy McPhail. Finally, they realized that Klentak had to go and that Andy McPhail needed to change his role. And John Middleton said to himself, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to bring in a guy that knows exactly what to do, who's a genius of a president of baseball operations. And look at where this team is right now. Look at what he's done. He has actually built a really good foundation for success for this team to not only just compete in the World Series now, but to actually build a really good future and get guys like Andrew Painter, get guys like Griff McGarry, and build with this young talent that they have now. The Flyers don't have a future. They just don't. I'm listening to Chuck Fletcher's press conferences today, and I'm just saying to myself, this is horrible. You couldn't deal JVR. You couldn't give him away to a contender. This guy can average, can get you like 30 goals a season. He's done that a couple of times. And you're telling me that you could not even get rid of him to just get back some sort of draft capital or whatever? What has this man done? What has this organization done that makes you say to yourself, so you know what? They're actually doing a really good job. They've done nothing. The only good thing that they've done over the last couple of years is they drafted Carter Hart. And that's it. Carter Hart has been their only bright spot. And that's why, and because of just the team's failures after time and time and time and time again, they had to get rid of Claude Drew. They had to send him to Florida. And look, he's doing really well now. And you couldn't get Johnny Gaudreau to come back. It is just like, what are we doing? What are we doing? I'm still shocked that JVR and Kevin Hayes weren't traded today because the whole goal was to get younger. The goal was to make sure that we try to get as many young guys as possible and try to get as many draft picks as possible. And Chuck couldn't even do that. He's done, I say that Dave Dombrowski, with everything he touches, it turns to gold. With everything Chuck Fletcher and the rest of the front office, it's not just Chuck. It's everybody that's a part of that inner circle. Danny Briere, okay, Bobby Clark, like all those guys, all those old heads that have just been with the organization for so long. Everything that they touch turns to rot. It turns to dust. They have not made good moves for this organization. And finally, the fans are saying something about it. I listened to 97.5 The Fanatic yesterday, and the first caller that was on the best show ever, he said that he was going to the town hall meeting tomorrow that the Flyers are having, and people are going to be there, just complaining about how the team has just not gotten better. And people that are season ticket holders are now going to start questioning the organization, which it's time. It's totally time to do that. This has been going on for so many years. It just has. It is disgusting. It is frustrating. And as somebody that, really does like to watch hockey, I just want this team to be good. The Sixers get stuck in the second round, but you know what? At least they've tried to build a foundation and they've tried to get better pieces around Joel Embiid. That was their direction. Okay, they went with James Harden, right? They got PJ Tucker. They're trying. It's just not working out. The Eagles are trying to build a foundation. And you know how they did it? They started by building with a great offensive line. And then eventually they ended up getting Jalen Hurts, even though they kind of lucked into it because at the time, when he was drafted, not everybody was on the same page. But you understand what I mean. They had a direction. They had a point. They had so many things that they just wanted to do, but it all started from building from the ground up. Or as well, that's a totally different analogy. I was going to bring up something else, but I can't do that. I can't do that right now. But the bottom line is that there's just no sort of future with this team. They're not building in the way that they should be. And it just starts with cleaning out the whole entire house, cleaning out the whole entire front office, because you know what? You, as people that like to go to the games and that love to watch competitive hockey, you're not getting that. When I was there about 6 months ago, what was this? It wasn't 6 months ago, but I was there about 4 or 5 months ago or whatever. When I was there for a preseason game, okay, I was watching this team, and you know what I heard? I heard "Fly Eagles Fly" chants. And the stadium was like literally almost empty. The whole entire Wells Fargo Center. Change has to happen. It's not just Chuck Fletcher. It's not just Comcast Spectacor. It's the guys that are helping these people make these decisions too. So if Chuck goes, fine. Who's going to come in? Who's going to replace him? And are the other people that are within his inner circle, if you will, are they going to go too? Because those people matter just as much as Chuck does. Chuck's not making all the decisions. It's all those. He's just a face. While, yes, he is making decisions, he's also in some ways just a face because there's other people that are within the front office that are helping him make these decisions, whether it's in the analytics department, whether it's in the scouting department, you name it. I want a clean house, except I still would like to keep John Tortorella. I've always been confused as to why they ended up going for a new head coach because that wasn't really going to change the whole philosophy. Even though he's gotten so much out of his players, there's no doubt about it. He's really been trying to get the best out of everybody with the talent that he has. And now his philosophy has changed, and they have to play better on the defensive side if they want to get better. And now they're just what was the quote? We have to play with pride throughout the rest of the season. That's exactly what he said. They're not competing for a playoff spot. And now, according to him, they just have to play with pride. There's just some miscommunication that's just been going on between every single side. And nobody can get on the same page. And I'm sick of this. I'm so sick of this. But I want to hear what you guys have to say. Because in all reality, man, I love talking about the Sixers. I want the Flyers to be relevant, dude. I would love to see, even though they did it about 3 years ago and they made it to the playoffs with the bubble, I would really like to see a deep playoff run with this team. I want them to go into a positive direction. That's all I can ask, okay? Come up with a plan, create the strategy, and you know what? If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But Chuck just couldn't get anything done today. And I've been so disappointed in him ever since he came here as the new Flyers GM. If you want to talk about Rasmus Ristolainen, that was an awful trade. It's terrible. Ryan Ellis didn't work out. I don't think that was all his fault. We can talk about so many things, but there's just no future. And there's no sense of urgency. There's no sort of direction. And when I'm listening to him talk to the media, the difference between him, Daryl Morey, and Howie Roseman is that they understand the fan base. The media today was asking him a lot of questions about JVR, and rightfully so. Because the fact that he wasn't let go, that was a big question mark. Everybody expected him to go with all the expiring contracts that they had. And he couldn't get anything done. And I bring that up. I bring up the whole media thing because he was he brought up that he was a little shocked that some people were still really stubborn about that because that's what we do. That's what the media is supposed to do. That's called doing your job. That's exactly what it's called. If you're not doing your job, why are you even there? Those are the types of questions they should be asking you. Why couldn't you get that done? Okay, was it because of the salary cap? What types of teams were interested in JVR? Apparently, the Detroit Red Wings reached out to you finally at 140. Like, how many calls did you make yesterday? Those are the types of questions that need to be asked because the Flyers demand change. The fans. And even some of the players aren't so happy now, according to John Totorella. And he's been so straightforward about everything throughout this whole entire time. He has a very interesting coaching strategy. And I sometimes I cringe a little bit because I think it's a little bit too old school or whatever. But he's honest. He's totally honest. He's totally straightforward. That's the type of guy that he is. And Chuck is just not that guy. But it's not just Chuck's fault. I want to make that clear. It's not just Chuck's fault. It's everybody else that's been a part of this organization for years. I want new people from the analytics department. I want new people from the scouting department. I want guys that understand how to find talent and they can go in some sort of a direction and not just say things that are pleasing to the ear. Actions speak louder than words in this scenario. And I just feel so bad for Carter Hart. I don't even know if they should even trade Carter at this point because I don't even know what they're going to get back. And I'm a little scared that if it's just a draft pick, that's just not enough. It's not. It's just so disappointing. And part of the reason why I haven't really been doing Flyers games, I've been putting it off for a little bit. One of the main reasons why is because the team is just not playing competitive hockey. They're not playing good hockey at all whatsoever. And it's so discouraging. The players have to play, but at the same time, you have to look at when you look at a tree, right? Like you're trying to take a look at the whole trunk of it, like the whole roots, because if there's a tree that's just like having a problem, like with the house or I don't even know what I'm saying, but when you're trying to take down a tree, like you got to take down the whole roots. You got to dig in there. You got to dig deep just to get to the roots of everything if you want to take it out. And that's exactly what the Flyers have to do. There's no other way to sugarcoat it. And Chuck just continues to not tell the full truth. And he doesn't understand the fan base. He doesn't. But I want to hear what you guys have to say because I'm interested and I'm also really intrigued to hear what you guys think about the Flyers as of right now and just how the NHL trade deadline went from a Flyers perspective in your eyes. I'm just still so shocked that JVR is on the team. And the fact that we have to play the Red Wings on Sunday, that stings. It stings because that's where he was supposed to go. And it just didn't happen. I have to trust guys like Wade Allison, Morgan Frost, Joel Farabee, who has sucked this season. I have to believe in those guys as the future. Travis Sanheim on an 8-year contract. What are we doing here? Only like 20 games or so left. And this is the type of thing that we get. Where do we go from here? Is there even a way? Chuck did say that he would that during the summertime he would be able to move some of these expiring contracts coming up next year with these veterans. The UFAs don't look so good. With the way that he's handled the salary cap, I just don't trust him. I don't trust him at all whatsoever. He gives guys way too much money, and he just doesn't know talent. I don't know, man. We're still going to be doing our Flyers game on Sunday, though, just to get in reps of doing play-by-play for hockey, because I haven't done that yet. And I've been pulling it off because, this team has been really bad. But I got to do it. I got to get in the reps somehow, some way. It's just such a shame that it's come to this point with this organization because I thought that we were better than this. I really did. Last year, you're the only team in NHL history to have 2 10-game losing streaks in the same season. Is that not a wake-up call for you? What did you expect going into this season was going to happen? Now JVR is going to walk. Kevin Hayes is probably going to walk. And you're going to get nothing. Nothing. As Willy Wonka would say, nothing. You lose. good day, sir. That's what happens. That's how it goes. Alrighty, guys. But I'm pretty much done babbling. If you guys have anything that you want to say, feel free to do so. I appreciate you guys so much for coming on here. Y'all are the best. I love you guys so much. We'll be back on tomorrow night for Sixers Bucks. That'll be at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. Don't forget about that. And we'll be doing that game. We'll be doing play-by-play for that. We won't be doing a post-game show for that tomorrow. Probably do it on Sunday, but I have to wait and see how things go. But anyhow, I love you guys so much. Y'all are the best, and I will catch you all on the next one. Let's go Flyers. I don't even know how to say it, man. This team is just not treating their fans correctly.